Welcome back to another episode of the Casey Campbell Podcast. Casey Campbell with you, of course. We're pleased to be joined by Garrett Hearl, of course, who you may know from Michigan, being part of some of the Big Ten student U broadcasts at Michigan State. Of course, that's where he goes to college. And of course, he is pursuing a journalism major. How's it going?
I'm pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing well. So before we get to this, how did this all start?
I think for me, in terms of knowing I want to go into journalism, it came back my junior year when my sports broadcasting class at the time, we took a field trip to Lansing, and basically they just held like a collage of different sports or broadcasting, just kind of careers. And I remember talking to someone from the Detroit News, and he was just giving off a bunch of different things about sports journalism and just like explaining what goes in the career. And I think that this would be something that I really want to pursue. And I think that a career in journalism is something that I think I would succeed at and like kind of prosper at. And then just kind of doing it around something that I'm really interested in, which would be sports. Yeah. So I think that's kind of how it all got started for me.
Yeah. You know, obviously, as you know, Michigan State's one of the biggest journalism schools in the country, which has produced a lot of, talent that's broadcasting all around the world. But looking at where you've kind of gone, I mean, you're not that far away from Michigan State.
No,
right down the road. What is it like? And you've loved Michigan State.
Oh yeah, I love Michigan State. Every single second I've been here has been amazing for me.
Yeah. So let's talk about how this kind of, starting it is good. That's one thing, but then you're just a freshman. You've got to do a lot of fun stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I got to call a women's soccer game back in the fall, which totally just throwing myself into the fire there. Yeah. I'm not a big soccer head, not a big soccer guy, but I was kind of just presented with the opportunity, I guess. And I just decided to take it, just decided to jump on it. And I think that's definitely something that a lot of people should do. And I have no regrets doing it. I learned so much from that experience in terms of broadcasting, how to prep, getting interviews from coaches or anybody, and just taking a lot of advice from different people on how to actually do this. And it was great. It was a great time.
Yeah. So what's been your most favorite sport to call so far?
Oh, definitely softball. I've only gotten to call the women's soccer game and then the softball game, doubleheader softball game. Michigan State played against Detroit Mercy earlier this month, or not this month. We're in April now. Gosh, earlier in March. Yeah. And definitely softball. That was a great time. I've loved baseball all my life. And then as I got to high school, I also loved softball. And so I did softball and baseball in high school. It was a great time. And it's kind of just going back to my roots a little bit, something I'm really familiar with and something I knew that I would do a lot better in calling.
Yeah. So do you feel, I mean, what's been like the most toughest part to learn about doing this kind of thing?
Toughest part to learn? I think for me, I think it's the idea that I have to get out of my head that this is journalism. It's not sport. I'm not like sports journalism. Like I think a lot of people get this idea that, oh, sports journalism, it's going to be really fun because you're going to be around sports all the time. And it's like, no, this is journalism. It's just going to be around the niche of sports. And I think the hardest thing for me is to get that out of my head. Cause it's like in high school, I didn't take it as seriously because I was just having fun because it was a sports broadcasting. But now that I'm in college and I want to make this my career, I have to kind of get away from that habit, I guess.
You can still have fun doing this.
Oh, yeah. Oh my gosh. It's so much fun. Yeah.
Yeah. It's the biggest thing with that is I know you've gotten a chance to do a lot of fun stuff this year. Mm-hmm. What's been the biggest thing? I know you've gotten to call games. You've gotten to be on the sidelines for a lot of stuff too. And you got to do it all in your first year. Did you expect all this?
Not at all. That's the biggest thing coming into this year. I think had the thought of, okay, I'm just going to kind of dip my toes in the water a little bit to start the year. And if I can like maybe put myself out there a little bit here and there, then I can do something. I didn't expect all this to come in my first year. I mean, this first year has been so far high above my expectations for myself, even that I could have even expected. So I wasn't expecting any of this to come, but I'm glad it did. And I'm glad I put myself out there a little bit.
Yep. So, I mean, you took a big step, and did you think were you nervous at first when you did all this?
Oh my gosh, yes. I was so nervous. I mean, calling a game for for two Big Ten schools for a sport that I barely know that much about, I was incredibly nervous. But I think the biggest thing, I know it comes back to being at Michigan State. There's so many amazing people that I can talk to and get advice from to just learn as much as I can to do the best job that I can for the spot I'm in.
Yep. Okay. So we know the broadcasting world, and we know that you want to do this. What are your goals for what are your goals for next, like the rest of the semester, and then heading into the next semester as things go on?
For the rest of the semester, I think it's just going to be doing well in my exams. But from a journalism broadcast standpoint, I think just keep doing different events with Big Ten Student U, learn as much as I can to prepare myself for next year. So once people leave, then maybe I can take I can take that stride for Big Ten Student U. I think that's something I really want to pursue. And then I really want to join Impact Radio next year. So that's something I really want to pursue. And then also this summer, I'm really hoping to possibly dabble in the writing aspect of journalism. I think that's something that would be something that I really think I should branch out on. So those are kind of my things I'm thinking about right now.
Absolutely. Okay. So outside of broadcasting and all that other stuff, what's your favorite sport?
Oh, baseball, no question. Yeah. Huge Tiger fan, been a Tiger fan all my life, will be forever. And, we're on the up and up right now. So
yeah. Favorite player?
Oh, that's a loaded question. Ooh, I gotta be Miguel Cabrera.
Yep.
Right now, probably Javier Baez.
Yeah.
I'm a big Javi guy right now. It's fun. I guess it's fun watching him take big swings and knowing, all right, he's either going to strike out or he's going to barrel something up and put it in the gap. But yeah, all time, definitely Miguel Cabrera.
He's still on there.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, he is. I mean, he's still got value to the team, being that veteran.
Yeah, for sure. It's it definitely going to be interesting to see what the Tigers can do this year.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Outside of what's the biggest thing you've learned in preparing for a game? What's the thing you've learned the most?
Well, lucky enough for me, I got to take a class about play-by-play from Dan Dickerson, the radio voice for the Tigers. And that was one of the most amazing experiences of my life. It was so surreal. But the biggest thing he taught me was prep. Prep is everything when it goes into calling a game. Getting interviews from the coaches. So just you have that little inside information that the listeners don't know that you can have on air. And then just having all the different storylines that maybe you want to talk about. For me, I like to have the rosters with stats, and then maybe just a couple key details in a nice binder just laid out. And then I'll have the lineup right there for me. And then I've got my little notebook that I have that I can write down key storylines that I just maybe want to talk about if I get the chance to, and it comes up. So but prep for me is the number one thing I've learned for calling a game.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And just use maybe just, little things like this and all that. It's makes a pretty big difference. So.
It does. Anything you can do to learn something new. I try to learn something new every day that I didn't know before about about this career. So
yeah, for sure. All right. Well, Garrett, thank you so much for coming on and spending a few minutes with us, and congrats on all the success that you've had. And let's have you on again sometime.
I would love to. Thank you so much for having me. This was great.